sometimes people will tend to judge, not you, they judge, that's what a Christian is. That's what it means to be a Christian. That's why I don't like Christians. They act like that.
How do you find encouragement and just grow through that when people are refusing to grow or listen?
Ruslan.
Nick D is, so this dude is like literally one of the most inspiring people I know. And the beautiful part about Nick is that he always reminds me to maintain the kindness and the gentleness that's required in living out the faith before the world. And that I think is extremely valuable, especially in your guys' positions, right? So there's this balance of like grace and truth that we all have to walk out. And I'm the truth guy. Like I'll tell people the truth. I'll tell them what I think. And sometimes it won't always be polite. So you can see my conversation with Alex O'Connor if you want to see me falling short in that area in real time. And Nick always keeps me anchored and grounded and accountable and encouraged to like, hey, be kind, be gentle, you know? And so he has a vast amount of insight and value and wisdom, like practically and tactically in terms of content creation. But I think there's also a ton of wisdom you can share in terms of like living out Jesus before the world without always having to make big, bold truth proclamations and letting people ask instead of always answering questions that people don't need. So we're kind of the yin and yang in this regard, you know, but I am always constantly inspired by him. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that in terms of just your paradigm and what you're able to do with music and your podcast. He has a comedy podcast. He's one of the biggest artists from the Instagram, Reel, TikTok generation. He does everything. Like the dude is really good at everything. We were teasing him last night about it.
Well, thank you for that. It's Thessalonians,
1 Thessalonians
4, 11
yeah.
and 12. And I'm paraphrasing, but it says, make it your goal to live a quiet life and work with your hands and, gain the respect of outsiders so that you won't be dependent on anybody. And outsiders in that I take as non-believers. And just to live in a way where they might question what's different about you. And that's kind of been my mission from the get-go is I'm really not the guy that's going to shove Jesus down somebody's throat. But I do hope I live in a way that makes them wonder what's different and maybe ask me, and then I can respond with Jesus. Because during your talk, you said Coke tried to change to go after the group that was just
opposers.
no interest.
Yeah.
Not, in fact, no interest, just completely opposing. And I think that's where you lose a lot of people. And I think if you live in a way that has them question, they're easier to get. Yeah. They're easier to have that conversation with, and they're easier to, I don't know, the word's not convince, but, get them to ask.
Yeah.
Have a conversation.
Yeah, we were just talking about this in the car. Like there's a culture building aspect to it, right? So a lot of what you're doing is, one, you're just making art that is wholesome, art that people can listen to, art that is not overtly Christian, though I would say if people really listened, they would hear references to the Messiah, references to your faith, but art that is good, like art my kids listen to. Like my kids are fans of Nick D and fans of Connor Price and fans of this sort of stuff. So like one, we just have a amazing access to art, but two, there's a culture shift in that when people then go a layer deeper with you and they follow you, they go, oh, he's not like every other rapper or every other guy on TikTok. He's more poised. He's a husband. He's a father. He lives a simple life. He lives on a farm, right? And so all of these things are shattering the preconceived notions in a worldly aspect, right, of what it means to be a influencer, artist, entrepreneur, creative, and it literally shifts people's perception of things, right? And I think that's a huge utility in terms of the macro people who don't know Jesus, right? And they're able to follow you. But yet in that, perhaps you're not as like overt or whatever, but you're never afraid or ashamed to stand next to someone like me who has a big mouth, you know what I mean? And is not afraid to poke and is not afraid to be confrontational. There's never like like he's a little too edgy, you know? And so I think that there's a beautiful balance there. And so I think for you guys that are all here, you guys all carry a direct degree of influence over the people that you're shepherding. Like there's a practical influence that you carry that not is just in a generic sense, the average person will influence 80,000 people, but like in a very practical way that you get to care and love for these people. And so finding the balance of the two, finding the balance of like, I'm not going to tell them the truth if they're bugging, because there's certain standards and protocol you got to hold people accountable to, but I'm also not going to be a jerk about it. I'm going to be kind.
Yeah, well, I talked about it briefly with you, and I don't think it's an original thought, but I had the thought. And if someone knows you're a believer, right? If someone knows that you follow Jesus, you're a Christian, then how you respond to negativity or situations, or how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you act, what you do with your time, all of those things. Sometimes people will tend to judge not you for that. They judge that's what a Christian is. That's what it means to be a Christian. That's why I don't like Christians. They act like that. And I think that's just a whole. It's a bigger weight to carry, really, when you're going out your day to day. But it should be, right? You're a representative of.
You're an ambassador of Christ.
You're an ambassador of Christ. And it holds a lot more weight knowing that they're not just judging you. They're looking at you as a follower of Christ, and they're judging followers of Christ based off your actions. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think that's just a different...
And take it a step further, they may even be judging God.
Absolutely.
Based on how God's people behave.
Absolutely.
Which is even more horrifying.
And I think that's why I really tried to live my life, and I could be much more vocal. I need to be more like you. But I really try to live my life in a way where people view it as, what's different about that guy?
I have a massive update for you. I'm sure by this point, you've heard about the Bless God Summit happening March 27th, 28th, 29th here in beautiful Carlsbad, California. But we've heard your requests. We've conceded to your demand. There are virtual tickets that are now available for the Bless God Summit, so you can access it from anywhere in the world, as well as access to the replays. And for those of you guys that are looking for something extra, we're also offering a virtual ticket and an exclusive Bless God Summit merch bundle. There's some amazing art and some exclusive pieces done by our friend Josh Nadeau from Sword and Pencil that you have to check out. So join us online for the virtual event and experience some sessions from my favorite podcasters, pastors, and performers. We have a stacked lineup. I'm talking about Preston Perry, Dr. Sean McDowell, Inspiring Philosophy. What do you mean? Lila Rose, Alan Parr and his wife Jen Parr. We even have Nate Sala from Wise Disciple, Gavin Ortland, David Wood, Avery from God Logic Apologetics. And on the pastoral side, we have my friend Daniel Golding, Pastor Ed Newton from CBC in San Antonio, and my personal pastor from Rhythm Church, Pastor Jeff Moores and his wife Erin Moores. You won't want to miss out from amazing performances from America's Got Talent winner Dustin Savella, Billboard charting hip-hop artist John Keith, and Miles Minnick. And we're still finalizing a few more speakers. So head over to blessgod.shop, get your virtual ticket now, and you can get yourself a bundle with some of the exclusive merch as well. I'll see you over there, all right? Peace.
Yeah, that's good. And I know this is probably like, you guys are like, well, Nick's an artist and Ruslan, you're a YouTuber. But here's the interesting thing is like doing your guys' convocation today was very evident to me that not everyone here is sold out for Jesus. Like that I'm getting DMs right now of like, I don't even like this whole convocation thing, but I like your talk today. That based on just the body language of people there's people there that had zero desire to be there. So you guys are at a Christian college, yet you're entrusted to shepherd these people, and at the same time, they're a mission field. Like you have a mission field right in front of you every single day that you can lead, love, pour into people, hold them accountable, and be the hands and feet of Jesus on this side of eternity, which is amazing. And on paper, Liberty University doesn't sound like that. When you're like, the biggest gathering of young adults in the world on a weekly basis, I'm like, they're going to be amening and chanting back at me. And then it's just all this, and I'm like, oh, this is not, but it's still beautiful because it is the world inside of the confines of the church. or a Christian institution, which is all of this is very fascinating to me. I'm like really like me and Nick have both like, I'd say fairly immersed ourselves into what's going on here. We went to play basketball. He actually played basketball. I just pretended to shoot around because I got a bum knee last night. We hung out with some of the students. We got hip to all the meme pages. Like we spent hours looking on meme pages last night.
I don't know about hours.
I spent an hour minimal, hour easy. And it is a very interesting microcosm of what's happening here, you know? But I really do believe that it's like from this and these incubators that you guys all get to participate in of leading your students on the people that you're shepherding, like this is how the gospel goes out, like especially in today's context. Like it's a very weird time we're living in. And you guys get to experience it firsthand. Like remove social media, remove the clout, remove the hype, remove the influencer, artists, YouTube, like remove all of that. And like you guys are on the front lines, like in a very, very real way. And yeah, so.
It's almost like they're attending school in the marketplace.
Come on. Yeah. Yeah.
Like they don't get out, they don't leave it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, which is really kind of, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we are here for you guys. We would love to go to questions and wherever you guys want to go. Like we're here for you guys. I don't think we have a hard out anytime soon. They said to keep this to an hour. I think we're going to go longer than an hour if we can. So yeah, we're here for you guys.
All right, so I know it's not our job to control the soil that the seed falls upon, but that we are called to like share the gospel and love others. So when the seed is falling on hard rocks, and how do you find encouragement and just grow through that when people are refusing to grow or listen?
She's speaking to my soul. You're reading my mail right now in my personal life. I'm being serious. My gosh, bro. You know some of my family, and yeah, I'm not going. I'm protect the innocent, but they're not innocent. How do we stay encouraged? Oh gosh, I really believe that salvation is a transformation of the heart, and I can't do that to someone. I can't save anyone. God has to change their heart. And that is very difficult because I know like you're putting your hand on the stove and the stove side and you're an idiot and but I love you and I don't want you to keep harming yourself. And I have to rest in that the Lord is good and that's God's job. And how do I love them through the mess and accept them right where they're at while still calling them to more? And these are things I'm dealing in my real life, like right now, like this week, you know? And I think that it's a tough tension to navigate, but I can't carry that weight of wanting to be God. I am not God. If someone can argue them into the kingdom of heaven, someone else can argue them out of the kingdom of heaven. So if I can make a brilliant, eloquent case on why the resurrection is true and they should be a Christian and they should follow God's ways, and I can make this brilliant case, and that's all it is. It's just an argument. It's just an apologetics, and I love apologetics, right? But like the flip side of that is that the transformation side is not on me. Like that's on the Holy Spirit and that's on them. Like they have to be willing to cooperate with that. And so, yeah, it's difficult.
All you can do is keep loving them.
Yeah.
Keep loving them.
Yeah.
That's it. And don't stop doing that. And then one day God will work. You sit back and let him work.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say this. I don't think my mom would mind me saying this. Like my mother has watched Jesus transform me. I'm walking with Jesus over 20 years, and I've had some rough patches, but generally like in church for the most part for 20 years. I didn't go and do 3 years in the world and club, and like I walked with Jesus for 20 years consistently, despite God working on me. And I would say that like my mom just started coming around to church, like she just got clean and sober, like a couple years ago. And the way she got clean and sober is because she fell, broke her shoulder. Had to get surgery on her shoulder, which then forced her to detox off alcohol, and then got both of her hips fixed, which allowed her to then walk outside. And now, like my mom goes to church every Sunday. She goes to a Calvary Chapel Oceanside Russian service. She goes to the gym. Like God is like working on her. It's crazy, but it took 20 years. 20 years. And goodness, was I not frustrated and sad and watching her deteriorate and her alcoholism destroying her and knowing that it's destroying her relationships. And that was, but man, goodness, am I grateful now, you know, and that, yeah, it's just like, I got a whole new mom. Like it's crazy, but that took a long time, you know? So yeah.
Because you kept going.
Kept going, kept loving her.
That's it.
You know?
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to comment below and subscribe and all that good stuff. And check out this other video that YouTube seems to be recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.